and welcome back to Hold and Modify, YouTube's most poorly produced, underproduced Amiga channel. It's Q, and this is a Lightwave video, a fan request. This is from Caleb, and I had recently posted one of the classic YouTube video series. It's a horror series of some poor person going through scary office hallways, parking garages, and there's some kind of terrible monster. And they call it the Backrooms series. It was initially, he was like around 17 years old when he started, and he's made this amazing video series. Well, it looks like he's going to be getting his own film series going. Good for him. That's super awesome. That's kind of like, back in the day, what we all wanted and were kind of hoping for when we got into this world. But he managed to do it today with his YouTube series. But anyway, I had posted a link to this story in the Amiga Facebook group, and Caleb was wondering, could we have done this on our Amigas back in the day? Like if you, if we took the time to model this hallway and could we do some kind of spooky handheld looking, monster crawl through the hallway? And it's like, well, yeah, of course you could. It would take some time. I mean, you need to model the hallway and how much detail you want to put into it and the limits of the Amiga, although the Amiga's, was limited, but it's not as limited as you think. I mean, this is a reasonably looking decent hallway. I mean, you can tell it's definitely an office hallway. And I did not model this. I did acquire this, and I modified it to work on Lightwave Amiga, so which means I did have to load it into Amiga Modeler and start deleting things and optimizing things to make it work better. But I got it to a level where I think it still looks pretty good and sells the idea. And then I kind of lit it. I put the lights in here, trying to give it some atmosphere of spookiness. And we should be able to see it here in just a second. So there we go. So yeah, we've kind of got this sickly looking office hallway where you're like, oh boy, walking through this by yourself, alone. And of course, you can add sound effects to this to help drive the animation and drive what's happening. But just this kind of sickly, we got the dimly lit, you got these these fluorescent lights up here, and purposely I kind of made the colors kind of warm and sickly, like the walls and the greens and the oranges and the reds, just trying to keep things kind of gloom and doom. This vignette is something, this kind of darkening you're seeing happening here. This is a post-processing filter that Lightwave has. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. That's under Effects, Image Filter Plugins, Vignette. It comes with Lightwave. It's pretty handy. The glow around the fluorescent tubes, of course, is done with the glow effect. And then the surfaces, I've done this in many Lightwave videos, just all your basic surfacing to give everything that look. The only other custom thing I've done is that I've chosen 640 by 480 square pixels, but I've turned on limited region to give us that, and you can see this little dashed line here. This is kind of giving us our 16 by 9, or 2:1 look that, is a little more updated, a little more modern. And I do have motion blur turned on, and I've turned it down from the default of 50% to 45%. But then more importantly, the thing is getting the animation, through here. So as you can see, I've started off with this single box. And then what I've done is I've taken this box and cloned it and just gone through and put it through all of this area and just kind of built this hallway, this series of hallways to go through. Each of these hallways is around 20,000 points. This number here is calculating points and polygons for all the objects in the scene. So yeah, you can take the polygon count, divide by 9, take the point count, divide by 9. But yeah, each of these objects is around 20,000 points. The limit in Lightwave for Amiga is around 65,000 points. So we're well within spec there. And then we're gonna go ahead here, and if you look at the camera, you can see I've got a relatively wide lens. And again, that's because what we're doing, it's a 16 mil, is we're trying to kind of simulate, on the shoulder VHS cameras, or VHS-C or 8mm, 16mm camera, whatever. Kind of like the video. Obviously, we're going widescreen, so you could argue that maybe it's a DV camera, like a widescreen DV camera. That's fine, but the point is that, over this animation, we're kind of rolling through this hallway and looking right, and looking left, and going, oh my gosh, and coming down this hallway. And just, this is the whole animation, just trying to kind of simulate that mood and feel of that video. This is nothing like his video. That gentleman's work is amazing. This is just me trying to give you an idea. This is me trying to give you some inspiration on how you could maybe do it on your Amiga. So if you come here and we actually make this preview, let's go back to the first frame. We're going to do bounding box. And you'll see the camera here, and you'll see it moving forward. I know it might be a little hard to see because it's gray on gray. I kind of wish Lightwave would leave the selection color when it does previews, but it does drop back down to this 2-color mode. So you can see the camera looks right there. The camera then looks left, and then it kind of moves forward, just clipping the corner of that wall, like being very careful. And then the camera comes through here, does a quick jaunt and looks left again because maybe it heard something. And then the camera moves forward and comes there. So we can just play that little bit right there to kind of give you an idea. And you can see it here in real time now. Walking through the hallway, we're looking right, looking left, deciding we're going to go for it. And then we hear something over there. We look left and keep going in a panic. So that's kind of like the animation. And how that all works, let me turn off all my auto key stuff, is you're basically grabbing this camera, and this is one of the cool things about Lightwave. You're just pushing it literally like a real person walking through the scene. You just walk through the scene, you're creating your keyframes, you're going to rotate, and you're looking down the hallway to the left, you're coming over here, and you just got to space your keyframes out so that you get a nice fluid kind of motion to it. And if you screw it up, you got to delete them, go back and try again. But that's the whole point, is that of how you can kind of quickly knock this out. I think this took me maybe, oh gosh, probably about 30 minutes to just do a quick animation of like walking down the hallways. You're kind of seeing me here manipulating the camera. And I would drop keyframes here and there to get this to work. And ultimately what I ended up with is I'll give you another bounding box preview here, is this kind of move here where we're kind of going through the hallway. And again, this is a camera that, you know, maybe is on his shoulder, or maybe it's a cell phone. He's holding it in front of his face and out in front of his face. Who knows, right? I mean, the idea is that I tried to experiment and show you different things you can do here. I purposely make some of the moves a little janky, a little harsh, so that, who knows? I mean, it's a handheld camera world, so you've seen handheld footage. It can be very jarring. And this is just for you to feel inspired by, to experiment with. It's almost done building the preview so we can watch it in real time. Here we go, we're almost frame 500. Okay, so let's go ahead and play this. So we're coming through here, we're kind of bobbling around. He's like, oh my gosh, looking right, looking left. You know, you can have his breath breathing, you hear sound effects. Oh, you hear something over there. He's like, oh, no, I gotta keep going. And he gets up to this corner, he's like, oh, I don't know. Okay, let's go for it. Let's go down the hallway. And here he is, he's running down the hallway, and who knows what happens next, right? That's kind of the feeling you gotta do. And again, you can see how a lot of this is really gonna be driven by sound, right? You could have a oppressive, dark music in the background. You've got the sound effects that are driving the camera to be looking around corners and all of that. And this is, it's very, very doable on the Amiga back in the day. I mean, it's just how much patience you had. Obviously, rendering 500 frames of this, even at 640 by 480, it's going to take some time on even a 68060 Amiga 4000, right? So it's, and most of us didn't have that. We had 68030s if we were into 3D, most of us. Some of the lucky few had 68040s. So yeah, it's going to take you some time, but I just wanted to show you it is possible and it is fun to do. And obviously other 3D programs can do this too, but I just like, as you saw me, how easy it was to just walk the camera through the scene, and you can drop keyframes and create this type of walkthrough animation of the spooky hallway. So let me go ahead and render this out so you can actually see it, and we'll take a look. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and just play this back. This is the rendered frames off the Amiga. These were JPEGs, and we're playing them back here on my Macintosh. I did not compile this as a Ham 8 animation. You're not seeing Ham 8. I'm sorry about that, but I did want to show you this as its, I guess you could call it its highest quality version. So one of the things you're going to see here with this animation I've done is, well, there's some glitches. There's some weirdness going on with it. So right here, see this? Yeah, look to your left, look to your right. Oop, oh, okay, we just passed it again there. But we're going to see it again here. See that little thing floating in the middle of the screen? Yeah, here we go. See right here? See that? That's the wall. So when I built this thing and I kind of smashed everything together, I forgot that like things, the wall is still there. So yeah, and right here when I come around the corner, I clip the corner too sharp. We actually go through the wall. So see that kind of weird left, blurry weirdness to the left? Yeah. So as we come down the hallway here, yeah, you can kind of see here, You can see the framing of a door there to the right, and then to the left you kind of see a panel. This is because I used one chunk of office to recreate or to create this entire office. So yeah, you know, look, I kind of hacked my way through this to make this work. But look, I'm showing, look at the awesome shadow coming off that frame. Look at the shadow on the wall. Total mistake, but you know, hey, it's art. I don't know. I just wanted to show you how fun this was. I think it looks kind of cool. Thanks for watching. I'm done with this video.